It's time for Tennessee Prime, an inside, in-depth look at Tennessee football through the eyes of those that wear the orange and white. Fried up each week by Gus's world-famous fried chicken. Hosted by the sports animals Jason Swain and Volquest Austin Price and Brent Hubbs. Welcome to Tennessee Prime.
So good to be with you this evening. I'm your host, Jason Swain, right here at 99.1 The Sports Animal, joined by Brent Hubbs of Volquest.com. Tennessee Prime is brought to you by Gus's world-famous fried chicken. We thank you for joining us this evening. We got a great show planned for you today with two awesome players, two starters on the defensive end of the football. But first, Hubbs, man, let's preview this game, or review this game and preview the Mizzou game, but we'll review what happened last week there in Athens, Georgia, as Tennessee falls to Georgia. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, Jason. Hope you're well. Yeah, tough day for Tennessee, obviously, and I thought Alex Golesh on Tuesday when he met the media kind of summed it up best, and that was give Georgia a ton of credit. They played well. They were the better team for 60 minutes on Saturday, and went out and won the football game, and Tennessee didn't do enough to help themselves, to give themselves a chance to win the football game. I think the bottom line, after rewatching it on Sunday and kind of diving back through it, I don't think it was the blowout that some people nationally want to indicate it was, or that Tennessee was dominated the way that some people want to indicate or act like it was. But obviously Tennessee didn't play well, and their self-inflicted wounds made that a game that wasn't a close game in the second half. Could have very easily been a one-possession game at the half without too much difficulty, Jason. But when you jump off sides 8 times and you miss a couple deep shots and you give up 3 chunk plays in the first quarter, you put yourself behind an 8 ball that makes it really hard to come back from. So tough day for Tennessee, learned a lot of learning lessons, and we'll see how this team responds from it moving forward. Georgia's a better football team than I thought. They played really well. I knew they were good, but they had not played like that, in my opinion. And they were ready to play, and they rose to the occasion and played extremely well.
Well, I think that's why a lot of people picked Tennessee to win, because Georgia had not proven that they can play at that level. Well, we know now they can play at that level, and they did that Saturday with the crowd behind them. So can Georgia play this way moving forward, or this way in a neutral site setting? We will see. But for Tennessee, there was an opportunity to control your own destiny there in the East, and did not work out the way you wanted to, but there's a lot of football to be played. And leadership is going to have to stand up. Whenever there's adversity, the real leaders are counted on to step up. I remember when Tim Tebow lost to Ole Miss years ago, in an infamous speech in the locker room about not losing another game, and they went on to win a national championship. But Tennessee has an opportunity, Hubbs, with a great leader in Hendon Hooker and several other guys on this football team that take pride in that power T and take pride in playing football the right way. And they didn't do that on Saturday. So here's the great thing about SEC football is you have opportunity to play another opponent inside your conference in 7 days and go out there and do a better job. And I fully anticipate Tennessee doing that this weekend against Mizzou at home at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you expect, because there's so much for them to play for, Jason. There's no reason for them not to. Their season is not lost. One of their goals is evaporated, and that's going to Atlanta for the SEC championship game. But there's still plenty in front of them. And the one thing that I think fans have to remind themselves of, because Tennessee's not been here, that arena, to be in that arena is hard, right? I mean, you're going to play in those type of magnitude games. Those are hard games to win. And I think when you see it and you watch it and you're immersed in one of those games in the stands or in the stadium, you get a much better feel for the magnitude of how hard those things are. And, that's a credit to the teams like Alabama through the years and the consistency that they played with, Jason. But those are truly toss-up games. And if you don't play your best, you're not going to win. You can't just roll the ball out there and beat a team like that. And I think that's a great lesson for Tennessee to learn, and one they should come back with this week and be ready to go against a Missouri team that has some challenges, but's playing hard. And there's just too much for Tennessee still out there for them, in my opinion, for this team not to bounce back and be ready to go on Saturday. I would be dumbfounded if this team's not ready to play Saturday afternoon.
I agree. And from a big picture standpoint, this program is 2 years ahead, in my opinion. Just looking at this season, looking at what this coaching staff inherited last year and all the players that left this program, I fully thought this was going to be a 4-year project before we are to this point that we are right now. And Tennessee is in prime position to go 11-1 in the regular season, and Josh Heupel's second season. So you have to look at the entire body of work, big picture, not get caught up too much in the moment, and looking at what happened on Saturday. As much as I wanted to win, as much as everyone wanted to win, who cares about Tennessee, you have to put things in perspective. This is year 2 of Josh Heupel, and this team has a chance to go 11-1 and still make the college football playoff, and at worst, go to the Sugar Bowl. Like, this is unheard of. So it's a testament to the staff, our players for buying in, putting that work in. This is one road speed bump that you got to get over, and it's Tuesday, so they've already had a couple days on the practice field to correct mistakes, a couple days to put in whatever game plan you're going to put in for Mizzou, offensively, defensively, and on special teams. Now it's about going out there and playing this Saturday. And like you said, I fully expect these guys to go out there and play extremely, extremely well. So we're going to be joined in our next segment by Brandon Turnage, defensive back. We're also going to be joined by Tamarion McDonald, defensive back. 2 guys on the defensive end that I think have been playing some really good football as of late. Good to see Brandon Turnage, in the lineup, making plays. Saw him last year, Hubs, when he filled in for Theo Jackson against South Carolina and messed around and scored a triple-double, like the rap song said. He messed around and got SEC Player of the Week when he was filling in, Hubs. I mean, my goodness, how great can you be to fill in and get those type of accolades? So we'll be joined by Brandon Turnage next segment, and then Tamarion McDonald that always likes to hit. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be his own teammate. It could be somebody else wearing the opposing color. But 2 guys that mean a lot to this defense.
Yeah, and a defense that I think is over. Their improvement's probably been overshadowed a little bit because of what they've done offensively and the way Jalen Hyatt, Hendon Hooker have played, and they deserve every accolade that they have gotten. But when you look at the 4 common opponents, and then we got to get a break here, but when you look at the 4 common opponents in the SEC from last year to this year, they've cut in half the amount of rushing yards given up. It was nearly 1,000 yards to the 4 common opponents a year ago, which is Georgia, Kentucky, Florida, and Alabama. And this year it's less than 500 yards surrendered to those 4 teams. And that's a stark improvement for Tim Banks' group in year 2. And I think it's a defense that's getting better. They had probably 3 bad plays on Saturday, maybe 4 that cost them dearly. But overall, this is a defense that continues to grow and continues to get better. So look forward to catching up to those guys, talking a little ball. We'll get an update on kind of where the mindset is of everybody, and then we'll talk to them a little bit about life as a football player and what life's been like for those guys this fall, because it's been obviously a crazy run for this football team that a lot of people didn't see coming. Look forward to being visited, joined by those guys. We'll also update everybody on the playoff standings when those come out a little bit later in this hour as well. So you can stay where you're at. We'll give you that as soon as it breaks and let you catch up with these 2 guys as well. Should be a lot of fun.
Let's do it. Looking forward to talking to these 2 ballers. We'll take our first break here on 99.1 The Sports Animal. Also, Volquest.com's YouTube page, part of the On3 network. Brent Hubbs of Volquest.com, Jason Swain here with you. 99.1 The Sports Animal. Tennessee Prime is brought to you by Gus's world-famous fried chicken. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll be joined by Tamarion McDonald, also Brandon Turnage.
Bite into that crispy crust with just the right amount of spicy, and you're going to taste the tender, juicy, succulent chicken that is Gus's world-famous fried chicken. a timeless Southern tradition that started over 60 years ago in Mason, Tennessee, with a secret family recipe. Gus's has stood the test of time and spread throughout the world. It's not just famous, it's world-famous fried chicken at Gus's.
The game has changed and Spire Sports is here. With name, image, and likeness arriving, your Orange fandom can now be put into action. Visit thevolunteerclub.com and become a member. 90% of every dollar generated through the Volunteer Club, powered by Spire, will go directly to athletes to improve the student-athlete experience at Tennessee. It's not just about winning the next game. It's about next season. It's about the next generation. It's about the Tennessee legacy. Join at thevolunteerclub.com. That's thevolunteerclub.com.
Volquest.com has been the gold standard for Tennessee football coverage for over 20 years, led by an experienced staff with over 600 games covered amongst them.
Speed, and then some more speed.
Volquest takes you behind the scenes with features on coaches and players. For only $9.95 per month, find out why Volquest continues to set that standard. Locally owned, Gus's is located on Sutherland Avenue and has been voted the best fried chicken in every city they've ever gone to. Throw in some delicious and mouth-watering sides, and it's easy to see why Gus's is a must-have at your dinner table. It's not just famous, it's world-famous fried chicken at Gus's.
Welcome back, everyone. Tennessee Prime is brought to you by Gus's, world famous fried chicken. Get by there, get the catfish, get the coleslaw, the fries, the mac and cheese. Oh my goodness, the wings, the thighs. World famous recipe there at Gus's fried chicken. Brent Hubbs, Volquest.com. I'm Jason Swain here, 991D Sports Animal. Good to be with you this evening. And joining us, Brandon Turnage, Tamarion McDonald. Guys, thank you for being part of the show this evening. How y'all doing?
I'm doing good, no problem. How you doing?
There's my man. There's my man, Brandon Turnage, McDonald. What's up, guys?
How you doing, Brandon? We gotta get Brandon's audio going. We'll get him going here in just a second. Trey, I'll get you taken care of there. We'll start with Tamarion and Tamarion, just everybody wants to know kind of where this team's mindset is. And Saturday was obviously a tough day, a disappointing day for you guys. How quickly do you turn the page? Kind of walk everybody through the 48 hours after that thing, getting back to work on the practice field and turning the page to the next team. How challenging was that, and how do you go about doing that?
Yes, sir. Of course, the loss hurt it. You can't dwell on it all week, though. So after Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you still can't be thinking about the loss because we got another team to play the following week. So I feel like the team did a good job. We had a good practice today. We did a good job of everybody. I feel like I seen the hurt on everybody, but it's not carrying on into how we've been preparing for Mizzou. So I think we're doing good.
Yeah. Brandon, it looks like we got you with us. Brent asked McDonald about turning that page 48 hours after the tough game against Georgia. How did you process that game, and how are you looking to turn that page?
Yeah, kind of like T-Mac said, it was kind of a little tough on everybody, but we can't stay in that chapter forever. So I feel like everybody came out today and practiced and attacked the day. Feel me? I feel like everybody pretty much put it behind them, but kept it on their shoulders. So I feel like this upcoming week is gonna be a good one, a great one.
I got to ask you this, to Marion. When you hear the phrase "respect the Haven," what comes to mind?
A lot of pain. Coach Salisbury, blood, sweat, and tears. Just a lot of that brotherhood. So yeah.
For those
I
who
know
don't,
Salisbury very well. Yeah.
For those who don't know, Jason, and Tamara, what is for those who aren't from Memphis and Whitehaven, what does that mean? What where did that come from? What does it stem from?
Respect the Haven. We the powerhouse of Memphis. Everybody scared of the Haven. When we next on the schedule, they know it's time to play. So yeah.
It's time to play. For both of you guys, the challenges of earning your spot. Brandon, you came in as a transfer, obviously looking to come in and make a big impact right away. You've had to earn your way through. I'm sure at times it's been difficult and a lot of work to be put in there. Tamarian, you earned your way through special teams. Mentally, how do you go about that bit? How do you go about that, Tamarian? I mean, I'm sure you felt like you were ready to play more than special teams the last couple of years. How did you stay kind of focused the way you needed to put yourself in the position you're in right now?
Yes, sir. I just always, like, even when I went playing, you would thought I would have been playing on the Saturday. I prepared that way all week, so it really was. I didn't get frustrated. I just learned. Like, I just took it as an advantage to learn as much as I can from the guys that's playing, and I mean, it paid off. I didn't really think wasn't a jealous, or it was more of a like just learn what you can from these guys. They've been doing it longer than you. So just learn, really. So when my time comes, it'll show.
I think the other thing too, Tamarian, that's interesting about your story when you look at it is most guys don't go kind of in reverse. I think you were at Whitehaven, you were a lot of in the box, downhill in the run, kind of almost playing outside linebacker in that defense for Coach Salisbury. Then you go at the college level and you're back playing in space. Most guys go the different direction, right? You grow from safety into linebacker, or a linebacker grows into an edge rusher. You kind of went backwards, which is really hard, I think, to do athletically. How did you become a good space player when the level of competition went up, when that wasn't your forte coming out of high school?
It was a challenge when I first got here, so I had to work at it. But I always had like that speed. I always had the speed to do it. It was just actually being in the space. So I had to work on it a lot. It didn't come easy, but I felt like I was strong enough in high school to do that too. So I guess that's why they like in high school we'll be in cover 3. I'd be at end. If we got a cover 2, I'd back all the way up to safety. So it was crazy. But, I mean, it's fun.
Sir,
Turners, you're a guy, man, that played multiple positions. And since you've been here, you've been highlighted as SEC Player of the Week last year in the South Carolina game, and now you're playing corner. How has your experience playing multiple positions you feel like helped your game and been able to help this defense?
Well, first off, it helps from it's always good to know what the person beside you got to do, because it can kind of help you know where to leverage the ball, know where we need help, like know what part of the field might not be covered and stuff like that. So I feel like it helped in that aspect, and also like being able to do that, it's helped me like be able to help others. You know what I'm saying? Like another guy might not know this or that, you feel me, or might not know where his help is. So feel me, it kind of give me a little leverage to be able to help and communicate with others.
You see on the screen there the second polls out for the college football rankings. You guys were number 1 a week ago, fall to number 5. You're the first team out right now. Do you guys pay attention to that stuff at all? I mean, did you get caught up knowing about number one a whole lot? I mean, did you watch it last Tuesday night? Did you pay attention to it? Were you looking forward to seeing where you were tonight? Or is that something more at this point of the season? You guys just kind of tunnel vision some of that stuff out. Brandon, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like last week or whenever it came out, I didn't even watch it. And tonight, I didn't even know this was coming out. You know, we pretty much don't. A lot of us don't pay attention to stuff like this.
Tamarian, what about you?
Yeah, I really don't pay attention to it either. I feel like the team practice the same every day, regardless of where we ranked it.
What's the challenge this weekend? Playing Mizzou. What have you guys seen on film so far from those guys in the last year? Put it on them last year. So they want to come down here and make sure that don't happen again. But what have you guys seen from them on film?
Well, I say first off, you asked what the challenge was. The challenge is, just playing better than we played last week, and like correcting ourselves and picking up, where we left out before the Georgia game, getting back to that standard, feel me, and playing hard and coming out and communicating like we always do. For real.
I feel like we just gotta focus on ourselves. They're a good team. They try to move you with a lot of motions, mess with your eyes a little bit, but I feel like we focus on ourselves and do what we supposed to do, we'll come out victorious.
Is it so? It's more of a challenge pre-snap, Marion. I mean, because I know Coach Drinkowitz does like to motion and shift, and I guess what they call eye candy or whatever. Is it one of those things that you got to be careful not to get misaligned before the ball snapped? Because once it snapped, you kind of know what you're kind of. Maybe it's not the. I mean, it's a challenge, but it's not anything unorthodox.
Yeah, it's mostly pre-snap, but they'll do like some wide behind the balls or tight end going back to the field on the snap, but it's mostly post-snap.
When you have a game like you had this past weekend, you had some adversity. This is the first time you really had some adversity. Who are some of the guys on the team that stepped up and been vocal, leading and making sure that you guys don't experience that again? Certainly. You certainly feel like you could have played better, could have won, but what happened. How do you make sure that doesn't happen again? And who have been some of the guys that have been vocal, making sure that everyone's mind in the right place?
I say Hendon.
I feel like we got we got leaders at every position, and those leaders,
Go ahead, Tamarian.
I say Hendon, of course, before practice, after practice, he always just try to tell everybody to do the right thing no matter what's going on. You got Tank, Jalen McCullough, you got Trey Flowers. Them just stand on us about, like, don't let up, keep going. Like, no matter what, the outside knows what's going on. We got one loss, so what? Like, just keep going, basically.
McDonald, when you first came in as a freshman, who were some of the guys that you kind of, watch how they handled themselves, conducted their business, made plays on the field? It's really important to have that big brother type, that model type. Who was that player for you, man, when you first came in as a freshman?
I say Theo. Really, since I came in and until he left, like I asked Theo like so many questions. I asked some more questions than I did the coaches. I was just always on the side of him because, like, he knew every defense. Like, even in the bowl game last year, we was down in 3 corners. He had to go play corner for us. And so that just shows you, like, how smart he is, how well he knows the defense. So that was the one guy that I stayed beside.
Tamara, what's the biggest challenge of playing the start position? I mean, what's the – compared to corner or compared to safety, what's the biggest difference in playing that nickelback position in Tim Banks' defense?
I say you're involved in about every play. So if you're not involved in the pass game in this play, you're most likely going to be in the run fit. You got to know the fronts. You got to know the gaps just as well as the mic and the wheel do. So, yeah, it's a lot. But, I mean, yeah.
Y'all talking about the star position?
Yeah. You were there.
For sure. Yeah. That was so different for me because, I was only playing like really corner at my old school and came here, had to play star. That was a crazy transition.
How much did it help you for this year, though? I mean, Brandon, to understand what
Kinda
other guys are doing
kind of
now.
helped me in the ways that I explained earlier. You know, like being able to like know the defense. Because if you're the star, you got to know everything. You got to know what everybody got to do. The front, you got to know what everything means. It ain't too much that you can't know, that you can't not know.
Brandon, what did you learn? What did you learn last year? I know you got the one play, you got to play star in the South Carolina game. What did you learn from last year to help you get yourself now that you've been in the lineup to stay in the lineup now? What did you take from last year's experience and apply it to this year's experience when you got your first real opportunity to make sure you built off that opportunity and it wasn't just kind of a one-off, if you will?
Really just trying to be more smart, you know, trying to watch more film, dial in, because I feel like the more film you watch, the more confident you can play, the more you will recognize, you know, like just from film study and stuff like that, and just trying to be consistent, trying to do everything the right way, trying to develop good habits.
I hate to kind of bring up the past here because, you know, you guys have played multiple games since then, but Brandon, I ain't talked to you in a while. So I'm going to ask you the win against Alabama. You played there last year at Alabama. I thought it was really cool that some of your old teammates there, knew your daughter. You had your daughter right there around.
Yeah.
That's when relationships matter more than playing the game. How special was that win at home against Alabama and some of your old teammates?
Man, it was real special. I know, because last year I got a mouthful. This year I cut them some slack. This year I cut them some slack because I know they were feeling it. So hey, I just let it slide. But it felt great, though. It felt great.
That's good. It's hard to go against your old teammates, man. That's kind of weird to transfer and go against your old teammates. That's weird.
Still got it right here. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. I look at it every morning.
Absolutely. Brandon, how good do you think you're playing right now? How well do you think you're playing? Is the game at corner starting to slow down? Do you think you guys are sort of getting settled in with maybe this rotation a little bit, and the way that you and Danico have played the last couple ball games there? Do you feel like that's kind of you're settling in for really the first time in this defense?
Not really. I feel like I'm playing pretty good, but I can play better. I feel like we both at corner think that we can play better. I feel like we leave some plays out on the field at times, feel me, like plays that we can make. But I feel like I'm settling in pretty well. But I do feel like I've been settled in and been capable of doing what I'm doing.
You've always been confident. Is your confidence growing? Do you feel like you're with each passing
Yes, sir.
possession?
That is growing. That is growing. At times, you feel me? I used to be kind of like unsure, iffy, but like I said, that goes back to film study. Just recognizing things when they happen and stuff like that. So I feel like it's kind of confidence, but it's also paying attention and like watching film, stuff like that.
Let's knock on some wood for this one, T-Matt, because I've seen you play since you've been here. I've seen you play in practice. Man, you like to hit, man. You do a really good job of it. And we want to knock on some wood here because we haven't had anybody ejected for targeting. I mean, we've done a really good job of leading with a shoulder pass. Slaughter had the big hit against Kentucky, led to an interception. What do you guys work on in practice to be able to still deliver big hits but not get yourself in danger of being ejected from the game and missing some time?
Well, we start off every day, beginning to end, we start off hitting his pad. And what coach focuses on, sometimes we go back and watch it in our meetings. What he focuses on is your face up or is your face down. We even go back to the games to see like where are your eyes at. And it make like that honestly like makes Martinez the maddest, like when he see you tackling, like even if it's a good tackle, like but if you're face down, like he always said like it's dangerous. If you keep tackling like that, you can really seriously hurt yourself. So I feel like everybody have listened to that, like because he preaches so much. He don't want nobody hurting their, any neck injuries, stuff like that. So
Yesterday, exactly, he spoke.
Just seeing what you hit anyway. Like, you don't want to be looking at the ground when you're going to hit somebody. You want to see what you hit anyway. So, yeah.
What happened yesterday, Brandon?
That's what he was speaking on it. Going crazy. He don't play that.
They make him the hottest. Like he'll get hot over that.
Yeah, that's because he cares about you guys and making sure that you don't hurt yourself the long term. It's more than just being ejected from the game, but just making sure that you're safe. So that's really, really good to hear. All right, guys, let's take a quick time out, and when we do that, our viewers and our listeners, get your comments in, get your questions in for Brandon Turnage, T-Mac here, Tamarion McDonald, and we will ask the guys the good questions from you right here on Tennessee Prime. Is brought to you by Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken. Brent Hubs, Volquest.com. Jason Swain here with you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Bite into that crispy crust with just the right amount of spicy, and you're going to taste the tender, juicy, succulent chicken that is Gus's world famous fried chicken. A timeless Southern tradition that started over 60 years ago in Mason, Tennessee with a secret family recipe. Gus's has stood the test of time and spread throughout the world. It's not just famous, it's world famous fried chicken at Gus's.
The game has changed and Spire Sports is here. With name, image, and likeness arriving, your Orange fandom can now be put into action. Visit thevolunteerclub.com and become a member. 90% of every dollar generated through the Volunteer Club, powered by Spire, will go directly to athletes to improve the student-athlete experience at Tennessee. It's not just about winning the next game. It's about next season. It's about the next generation. It's about the Tennessee legacy. Join at thevolunteerclub.com. That's thevolunteerclub.com.
Volquest.com has been the gold standard for Tennessee football coverage for over 20 years, led by an experienced staff with over 600 games covered amongst them.
Speed, and then some more speed.
Volquest takes you behind the scenes with features on coaches and players. For only $9.95 per month, find out why Volquest continues to set that standard. Locally owned, Gus's is located on Sutherland Avenue and has been voted the best fried chicken in every city they've ever gone to. Throw in some delicious and mouth-watering sides, and it's easy to see why Gus's is a must-have at your dinner table. It's not just famous, it's world-famous fried chicken at Gus's.
Welcome back to Tennessee Prime here on 991 D Sports Animal and the Volquest YouTube page. Appreciate you joining us this evening. Brent Hubs, Volquest.com. Jason Swain here with you. Joining us tonight is defensive back Brandon Turnage and Tamarion McDonald. And we want to take your questions. So get those questions in. We want to ask our guest to this evening your questions. So from Andy, I think I pretty much know the answer from you, McDonald, but Andy J wants to know, how bad do you want a rematch with Georgia?
Like you said, you already know the answer.
All right. We'll keep it
don't really.
We'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
We'll keep it moving. Wayne says star is definitely the hardest spot in the secondary. In his opinion, you got to play the run and be able to cover fast slot guys and man.
I feel like it's
agree with Wayne.
I feel like it's two hard positions in the secondary, though.
Okay.
Because corner ain't easy.
Corner is
especially when you to the field, you solo to the field. Oh, it's crazy.
Corner is not easy, but
I do agree, it is the hardest. Star is the hardest.
Yeah.
I think the slot fade is the hardest route to cover in football. You guys agree?
Mm-hmm,
yes.
Sure.
I just say Jalen Hyde, you and Jalen Hyde by yourself. That's all
Exactly.
So a lot of people think that that the star position's harder, but because it's more mentally taxing. Do you think that people don't recognize the physical demands that position brings? Because there's so much talk about how you have to know everything at the star, but as you just mentioned, you may be down in the box in the run game where you got to take on a pulling guard, but then you might get in a slot fade route against a 4-3 slot receiver. I mean, is it tougher mentally or physically?
I just say both, because mentally you got to know everything, and just physically, it's just a lot more space where you at, where you lined up at. No matter what, you're in space. You know what I'm saying? The corners, they lined up on the sideline. It's a lot of space, but you get what I'm saying?
Go ahead, Brandon. It sounds like he's I don't want to cause risks here, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do agree. I feel like that position, it is both mentally and physically tough to play due to having to cover fast guys. You feel me? Having to come out of coverage sometimes to come down and make a hit in the box on a big linebacker. On a big running back or something like that. So yeah, I feel like that position definitely has an edge.
Andy J wants to know who was the hardest guy to cover on the team.
That'll be, from my position, it'll be Jalen Hyde Jalen Hyde. Or
what about you, Brandon? You thinking about it?
Yeah, Jalen Hyde.
I think Brandon. We'll get Brandon's answer here in a second.
Brendan had thought about it to the point he locked up Jay Swain.
Exactly.
He'll bounce back
in
just a second. Tamarin, I want to ask you about some things kind of off the football field. What do you do to get away from the game? I mean, you've been on this show here for 30 minutes, and we're peppering you with every football question. These guys have football questions. What do you do to kind of veg out from football and get away from football? Do you want to get away from football? I mean, how do you balance the life of football and just kind of being a normal student sometimes as well?
Yeah, it's really hard too, but away from the game, I'm a big family guy, so being in college, you don't really see your family that much. So with the free time I do have, I try to call my mom, my little brother, my granny, just talk about something, because just always, since I'm not around them at the moment, so I just try to with my fam. I'm either talking to my family or some with football. Yeah, I'm talking to my family or some with football. So family.
Is your family the why? Is that, coaches always talk about the why you play and why the game's important to you. Is it your family that motivates you for the game, or what is it about the game of football that drives you to continue to do what you do?
I just love football. Just seeing where it can take you, and my family is the why boy, but more so my little brother, just showing him that you can really, if you focus and lock in on something that you want, you can really do it, no matter what. So just showing him.
McDonald, we got a lot of guys on the team from Memphis, man. Do y'all kind of band together? Do y'all walk around the complex and together and let people know that Memphis is where all the talent is, and the state of Tennessee? Do you guys represent and feel like you have Memphis on your back. You got to go out there and put it down on the field on Saturdays.
Yes, sir. You will catch the Memphis boys a lot if you were in the facility. So yeah, we pretty much if it's not all of us, it's a couple of us together. So yeah, and we always.
Does Brandon count? Does Brandon count? He like an hour and a half away, right? From
No,
Oxford?
no. We talk about this all the time.
I'm a SIP boy. I'm from the SIP. Now I'm from the SIP.
We talk about that all the time. Mississippi is not. No, sir.
I used to stay right down the street from T-Mac High School, though. I used to stay in South Haven, probably like 8 minutes away from his high school.
But you're not adopted, is what you're telling me. You're not adopted in.
Nah.
Brandon, I asked Tamarian this. What do you do? I know your daughter's really important to you. Okay,
she's watching me right now.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's watching.
And so is that your why? And why is your daughter? Why are you so close? And why is your daughter kind of motivating you the way that she's motivated you?
Oh well, I can say okay, so I done been through a lot with football and stuff like that, and like how she comes up here like every Saturday, how she interacts with like my teammates, and like even just in ball walk, and I see how excited she is all the time, and she's always saying something like "pick six, dada," or stop being a crybaby, dada. She's only one, but she really says stuff like this. She tell me stop faking, like whenever I get hurt or something like that. Like it was a UT Martin game. I believe her mom told me that she told her that I was hurt, and she said, "Get up, dada. Stop faking, dada." And it's just there's little stuff like this, like that, like if she can want me to get up, and just do this and that, like why can't I? You feel me? Because I know that she's looking up to me, and like that I really make her happy. So I mean, I feel like that's my why, and it got to be my why. That's why I get up every morning and try to work as hard as I do.
Man, that's cool. That's so cool. I saw you in action last year, Terrence, when we did the locker room. I saw you in action with your daughter. Just daughter daddy day. And
yes. Cool they let her come anywhere. They let her come anywhere she wants.
Yeah, she run the show. She run the show. Hey, this weekend is senior day. So for those guys that have been leading this team, the seniors, this is their last time in Neyland. Have you guys had any conversations with those seniors about what it's going to be like from an emotional standpoint, running through the tee for the last time, ball walk for the last time? Have you guys had that conversation yet this week?
You got
Coach Banks. Well, Coach Banks, really, he's just been saying these a lot of the seniors' last game in Neyland. So like, let's give them our all. Let's send them out on a good note. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we want to do.
Yes, sir.
Brian, how did you from Oxford, Mississippi? How did you end up at two SEC schools other than Ole Miss? I gotta know this story.
Well, at first it was really because I just wanted to get out of Oxford, get away from home, and then this time it really just kind of didn't play out that way. Like when I got in the portal or whatever. I mean, they had offered me when I was in the portal, but I didn't really see the serious interest. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I just came here.
Glad to have you.
And actually, it was crazy story. When I was at Bama, me and T-Mac were texting through DM, and he had told me to come up here, come to Tennessee. Before I was ever in the portal, he just told me to come to Tennessee. So I was like, man, why not?
So basically, you're telling on T-Mac for tampering?
Nah, it ain't tampering. That was too much.
Hey, now when you live just down the street in South Haven, right?
That's right.
Right.
The neighborhood boys, they're total neighborhood guys. Hey, Nugs wants to know, Brandon, if you get beat on a play, is it more confidence or short memory that gets you ready for the next play? How do you bounce back after you give up something?
Short memory. Like this past weekend, I got beat on a post, which I was like right in the area or whatever. But I mean, there's nothing that I can do to go back and change that play. The only thing I can control is what I do the next play. So the next play mentality is like what kind of keep me, from getting distracted on something bad that happened before. Even when something good happened, you still got to have that short memory and just keep going.
How hard is that to learn? Because I mean, I would imagine in high school,
it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to learn because like starting off early, like as a young guy, feel me? Say for instance, you're a freshman, you coming into college, you get beat on balls and stuff in practice, it can kind of kill your confidence. So I feel like in order to grow, you have to learn how to, just put it to the side and go to the next play, correct it in film, correct it in like extra work, practicing your footwork and stuff like that. I feel like that's where it all starts.
Well, guys, awesome job tonight. We really appreciate the time. We're looking forward to seeing this football team play at home for senior day against Mizzou. I know you guys are pumped up about a noon game. Get out there and play as soon as possible. Y'all were great this evening, so we're going to let you guys go. Rest up, go to sleep, whatever you do, and get ready for practice in the morning. Y'all were great, man. Thank you so much for y'all's time.
Appreciate you. Thank y'all.
Yeah, thanks very much. Appreciate it, guys.
Tamarion McDonald here and Brandon Turnage, both in the defensive backfield. McDonald playing the star position. Turnage has played it, now playing corner. We'll take a quick timeout, and we'll come back, wrap everything up right here on Tennessee Prime. Brent Hubbs, Jason Swain. Tennessee Prime is brought to you by Gus's world-famous fried chicken.
Bite into that crispy crust with just the right amount of spicy, and you're going to taste the tender, juicy, succulent chicken that is Gus's world-famous fried chicken. A timeless Southern tradition that started over 60 years ago in Mason, Tennessee with a secret family recipe. Gus's has stood the test of time and spread throughout the world. It's not just famous, it's world-famous fried chicken at Gus's.
The game has changed and Spire Sports is here. With name, image, and likeness arriving, your Orange fandom can now be put into action. Visit thevolunteerclub.com and become a member. 90% of every dollar generated through the Volunteer Club, powered by Spire, will go directly to athletes to improve the student-athlete experience at Tennessee. It's not just about winning the next game. It's about next season. It's about the next generation. It's about the Tennessee legacy. Join at thevolunteerclub.com. That's thevolunteerclub.com.
Volquest.com has been the gold standard for Tennessee football coverage for over 20 years, led by an experienced staff with over 600 games covered amongst them.
Speed, and then some more speed.
Volquest takes you behind the scenes with features on coaches and players. For only $9.95 per month, find out why Volquest continues to set that standard. Locally owned, Gus's is located on Sutherland Avenue and has been voted the best fried chicken in every city they've ever gone to. Throw in some delicious and mouth-watering sides, and it's easy to see why Gus's is a must-have at your dinner table. It's not just famous, it's world-famous fried chicken at Gus's.
Welcome back. Brent Hubbs, Jason Swain here with you. Tennessee Prime is fried up every Tuesday here. Gus's world-famous fried chicken, world-famous recipe, the catfish. The sides are to die for. Get by there, Sutherland Avenue. It is good, good stuff. Look forward to going back to Gus's world-famous fried chicken. We were joined earlier by Brandon Turnage, also Tamarion McDonald. And Hubbs, we got a couple minutes left, about 6 minutes And I want to revisit the new rankings, college football playoff. Tennessee sitting at number 5. Were you expecting tonight's kind of landing position for Tennessee, or are you a little bit surprised?
No, I kind of thought they would be 5, Jason. And the reason I felt like they would be 5 is the talk out there about Tennessee getting blown out and how they were kind of routed and Georgia could have scored as much as they wanted to, and kind of that narrative that you saw creep up nationally over the course of the 36 hours, 48 hours after the game. I think the other thing too is, look, this thing is it's a weekly evolving poll. If it doesn't move around, it doesn't generate discussion, right? If everybody says the same, and you have very little movement, there's no real talk. Now, I think the interesting question is, how was Alabama ahead of TCU as a one-loss team last week, but Tennessee falls behind TCU as a one-loss team this week? I think it's a fair question. But you got TCU taking on Texas, game days in Texas, ESPN's driving the public relations of all of the ranking stuff and all those things. And the storylines are what the storylines are. I think the beautiful thing for fans is it's all set up to take care of itself when you look at it. I mean, TCU's got 2 difficult games left, Texas on the road where they're an underdog, and then they've got Baylor, and then Michigan and Ohio State play each other. So for Tennessee, you got to go take care of your business. I'm personally not surprised they're 5. I kind of thought that's where they would land. I would have been more surprised if they were 4 than 5, I think, personally. I don't know how you felt.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Oregon, Hubs, and Oregon they got some tough games too. They got to play Washington, got to play Utah. They're going to play Oregon State. That game always gets weird. Then they'll play in the conference championship. So there's many opportunities for Oregon to slip up. And I know they're behind Tennessee, but they could possibly, jump Tennessee if they win out and win big. So that's that fear. I look at Michigan, Ohio State. They'll play each other. That'll work itself out. But I agree with you on TCU. I think there's opportunity for the Horned Frogs to fall. And if they do, Tennessee is in a perfect spot. They can go out there and take care of business the next 3 weeks and do it convincingly for them to be right back in the top 4. But you don't put the rankings out every Tuesday unless you want people to watch. You got to have a little bit of drama to it. So I do understand that too.
Absolutely. Here's the one thing I don't agree with that's kind of being thrown out there. And I know it was week 1, and people don't put maybe as much stock in week 1. But to me, you cannot compare Georgia's beatdown of Oregon to Georgia's win over Tennessee. The Oregon win was in Atlanta on a neutral site, and that was an uncompetitive game, period. Oregon did not. I thought Georgia could have scored 100 points in that game if they wanted to. Oregon had 0 answers. Now, Oregon's got better. Bo Nix is playing much better. I give Oregon credit for their growth, but I don't think that a 48-0 loss to Georgia in week 1 is the same as Tennessee going to Athens, Georgia, in a true playoff game and getting beat 27-13. I don't see the comparison that some of the national people are trying to make to act like Tennessee got beat as bad as Oregon did. It was the same thing, but Kirby called the dogs off. I don't buy that one. I have a hard time. You can't sell me on that one. That's being thrown out there.
Got about 2 minutes left, Hubs. What do you want to see the most this weekend? Maybe that we didn't see last weekend against Georgia. What do you want to see against Mizzou?
Just clean it up, just play with a little more poise and play in some offensive rhythm. I thought they got a little bit out of rhythm in the third quarter against Kentucky. Maybe didn't have their greatest rhythm in the back half of that game offensively, and I thought it carried over a little bit with the crowd. So just get into an offensive rhythm, and then defensively, just continue to grow. I think the aggressiveness in the secondary is starting to creep up there, Jason. I'd like for that to continue out of those corners to continue to play tighter coverage with all the blitzing that they're doing up front, because I think it'll give them a chance to make some more plays.
Yeah, I want to see us run some intermediate routes from the receiver position, make some catches, make guys miss. I think those one-on-one matchups you're going to see, if you see Georgia again, will be very, very important. Making those guys miss after the catch will be extremely important. I want to see us get to the quarterback. Didn't do that against Mizzou. Got to get to the quarterback. Got to create some pressure. And it's always good when your DBs is getting their hands on the ball and making plays. And special teams, got to clean that part up too. Fielding it, we got, we're young back there. So I want to see that improve moving forward. And there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity to do that because I anticipate Mizzou to punt the ball. And I anticipate Tennessee having plenty of opportunities on offense to make some plays as well. But you got to turn the page. And it sounds like these guys are doing that. Obviously, it means a lot to them. We was around this team after the game. You saw the hurt for sure, but you still have to get ready for the next game. And the next game is Missouri.
Yeah, no doubt. And 11-1 on the table is a big deal. I mean, this program's not been there. And that's, you talk about being back or kind of planting your flag, if you will, Jason. To me, an 11-win season plants a flag, whether you're in the playoff or you're not in the playoff. That's a significant flag in the rebuild of Josh Heupel. So I think it's important that Tennessee gets there. And the only way you can get there is to take care of business at noon against Missouri on Saturday.
And next Tuesday, we'll be here to talk about it. On Tennessee Prime, we'll have 2 players joining us from the football team, and we look forward to hearing your questions as we peace out for this evening. This edition of Tennessee Prime, that is brought to you by Gus's World Famous Fried Chicken. Make sure you get to Volquest.com. Make sure you subscribe to their YouTube page. Check out all the work that they're doing. I'm Jason Swain. That's Brent Hubbs. Have a blessed evening. Tennessee Lady Vols against Ohio State Buckeyes tonight. Make sure you tune in. Y'all have a great night.